Hey, guess what, everybody? Go listen to the Break It Down show.
We are at Bayview Studios, but joining us via Skype from Long Island is Alison Bedell. And you can catch her at Alison Bedell on Twitter. But more commonly, at least in my house, you can catch her on Catch a Contractor. She is the lovely private investigator who, along with her husband, Skip and Adam Carolla, bust people who do shoddy work and bring them to justice somehow. Usually we're glad to see by making them go back to the house and apologize to the family and make them right. So I'm a big fan. Pete's a big fan. We're glad to have you, and thanks. How's it going?
Going pretty good. Yeah. We're getting in the beginning stages of everything that gets done in order to start filming the next season. So production is really busy right now with all the things that they do behind the scenes to prepare for everything that we do. So we're home. We're waiting for everything to fall into place so we can just fly out and start doing our thing.
That's pretty sweet. That's when you know you're the star of the show, when everybody's going to do their busy bee thing. And then, you know what? Let us know when you guys are all set and we'll drop in.
Yeah, we're trying to do things to get people to apply for the show. We're hoping for some more people who've had problems to apply for the show. It's a little difficult because, for one, if they've never heard of the show, they don't know that there's something out there available to help them.
Some sort of recourse.
Yeah, and the other thing is that if the casting isn't reaching out to them, it's really hard to have this notice, to where everybody's going to see it. You try to put it in places like in the paper or online, but if people aren't looking at those things, you can't reach those people either. So you're trying to tell a friend and tweet and ask people to retweet your tweets. But if people aren't on Twitter, like a lot of adults aren't on Twitter, people like in their 50s, 60s, my mom can barely figure out how to make a profile, let alone use it. So
we were happy to see that my dad joined Twitter this week. We'll see what he does with it.
And he follows Jimmy Fallon twice, but he follows the show, so that's good.
Yeah.
He's doing what he's supposed to do.
My mom started an Instagram account, and I'm her only follower, and she doesn't know how to follow, she just doesn't know how to post a picture. It's really hard. So basically the problem is just getting the word out to everybody that we want to tell about the show. So we could really use a lot more people applying for it. We would love to have some more applicants in Las Vegas because we hear that there's a huge problem out there with the contractors.
Oh boy.
So yeah, so it's really, we need a large pool to choose from, unfortunately, because there's a lot of guidelines in choosing which show, which house we're going to be working on. There's a lot involved, so we need more people applying.
Do Skip and Adam, do they work on which houses they want to try to do? Like if they think there's something that's interesting for the build at all, or do they not have any real pull in that part of the show?
Well, unfortunately, a lot of that comes after the house has already been selected, because the beginning stages of choosing a house has a lot to do with production and the scope of the job, how big it is, how small it is, how much time we will have to do the repairs and the investigations and film everything that we need to film within the time that we have in order to make the show. Because, with a network, you have to have everything made and completed and edited and made into an actual television show in time for it to be aired when the network wants to air it.
Yeah, you guys have deadlines.
Yeah.
So you have to operate within those deadlines.
Yeah, and there's a budget, we can't take, an enormous job, of course, and we want to take a situation where there's a story to be told and that there's a need and, where people are going to learn something and we're going to help somebody, we want to have a good story that everybody's going to enjoy watching as well. So after all of that takes place and all that work is done and we get the houses that we want to work on, then we get to the houses and the investigation part takes place, and also in the background, Adam and Skip are going to look at the house, and every single time it turns out that there's more that has gone wrong than the family even realizes.
Wow.
Or anybody in production, because none of those people...
They don't know what they're looking at.
Yeah.
Right. So they don't know what they're at. So once they actually get in the house, they're like, that problem you thought you had, that's not even a problem.
You haven't seen the beginning of it.
Yeah, so, I mean, it happens every single time that what they think is the issue, it's something much bigger.
Well,
so
can you tell us how our listeners or anybody out there who can tip off somebody who really needs this to happen, especially in Las Vegas? And we've had a couple of guests from there.
Heck, I used to live in Las Vegas.
Yeah. So if people want to apply for the show, how do they do that? Can they reach you through?
It's go to catchacontractor.com. And when you go on that website, it's a sheet, like an online questionnaire. It asks you your information and where you live, what your problem is, what happened, who's the person. And then somebody from production will contact you on the phone and get the ball rolling so we can find out all the information that we need. But the first thing to do is go to catchacontractor.com.
So go to catchacontractor.com. If you guys haven't seen the show, it's on 10 o'clock on Sundays on Spike.
It has been on 10 o'clock on Sunday nights on Spike when the season is airing its first run of each episode. And we think that there's a possibility that for season 3, we're going to be getting our own night. Because right now we come after Bar Rescue. It's like a Bar Rescue night at 9 o'clock, and we come after 10. So we have a little bit of inside information that there's a possibility we're going to be on our own night, and the new shows on Spike are going to be after us.
So the easy thing to do, everybody, is DVR it, and then, help a show out, you guys. If you DVR the show, watch it in the first week, because you count for the ratings if you watch the show in the first week.
Exactly. Yeah, watch the DVR within the first 3 days. We were airing on a Sunday, and then if you watched it by Thursday, it counted for our ratings. So that's really important. But if you haven't ever seen the show before, you can also watch it on Hulu, which we discovered from fans. We had no idea. And because it's not on demand yet for some reason, but you can also watch it on Amazon or iTunes. Or you can even download, if you have one of those Apple products, like iPhone or the iPad, you can download the Spike app and watch the whole thing for free, both season 1 and 2.
Look at that.
Yeah, she's doing her work.
So season 1, you guys were a half-hour slot, and then season 2, they opened you up for an hour. Did that open up the scope of projects you guys could take on?
Well, we already had a really good scope of projects in season 1. The problem was that the network had only ordered half-hour episodes. We could have easily made hour episodes out of all the footage that we had filmed, because it's the same amount, basically,
Right.
But what the people were complaining about, the viewers, were that they wanted more of everything. They wanted more construction. Everybody wanted to see more construction. Everybody loves the tips that, are shown in the little cartoon segment. It looks like, like where they call them info pods, where you learn something. Everybody wanted more of that. They wanted more confrontation with the crappy contractor. So the hour format, everybody was screaming, we love the show, but it's got to be an hour. And so the network actually listened, which was really cool. And it turned out to be a much better show after they extended it.
We also want more you, too.
Yeah, I think the viewers said, we need more Allison.
Yeah.
I don't know about that, but I'm okay with that.
And if you guys are going to follow Allison on Twitter, it's Allison with 1 L.
Yeah, that's right.
So,
1 L and
second
Allison,
L
but 2 L's and
Two
Bedell.
L's and Bedell.
Yeah.
So, okay, that's great. We want to plug the show.
If you can just find Skip, that'll be the easier one. And then from there, you'll find my name popping up, and you can just click on me.
Well, Skip is Skip_Bedell?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Look, you can see me. I got no hands, no notes. I'm doing this all from memory.
That's right.
Because I'm a fan. So.
Thanks.
I know it's no surprise to you, but if you guys watch the show, you're going to see, obviously, that Skip and Allison are a very sexy couple. And for the, you know what? Ladies, men, gay, straight, whatever you are, there's eye candy on this show.
That's right.
And there's Adam Carolla. So.
That kind of was really accidental. They didn't look for people. I think it just kind of happened that way. It was I fell into the show just by accident. They were casting for somebody who was a real contractor to be on the show.
And that was Skip, essentially. It was Skip's pitch.
Well, they found him online on YouTube, actually, up on a thing I had posted of him on YouTube. And not only does he look good, but he's really a contractor and he really knows what he's talking about, and he's really good at what he does, and he's really an ethical person. So it all kind of just
really, pardon my language, he really fucking cares, that Skip, man.
He really does.
He really cares. You can tell, because whenever you guys run into a situation where you confront the contractor and he's being an ass about it, man, Skip you can tell he's hurt. He didn't take it well.
Yeah, because he knows, because he knows what he's talking about, and when he can tell people are bullshitting and they're trying to make an excuse, he knows that they're lying, and he it's like a personal insult almost, like, you can't lie to me, like, I know, like,
yeah.
don't take me for an idiot, it's like, same thing on my job, like what I do at home every day. It's like, it's personally insulting when people try to bullshit you and that, like, don't take me for an idiot because you're talking to the wrong person, so he cares because it's the right thing to do, and it's personally insulting because of the whole industry. That's like, we're hoping to really change that, because everybody thinks contractors are all full of crap. And before I met him, as a woman, you can't help but be cautious because you feel like someone's going to take advantage of you because you don't know what it is that they're talking to you about. Even the same thing with your car, when you bring it to a mechanic, or it's the same thing, like, I don't know what they're telling me is true or not. So you feel like you're already set up to be a victim. So what we're trying to do is just turn the tables around and show people that, no, that's actually the minority. The guys who are pulling that business, taking advantage, that's not how they all are. Those are the scumbags that you happen to have run into, and then the squeaky wheel gets the grease. You don't usually hear about the good guys, you hear about the crap. So it's something that we both take really personally, because it hurts the real business guys,
Yeah, it hurts the craft, and you have to honor the craft. So I want to point our listeners to other places where they can hear your stories, because you guys have a totally adorable story.
Man.
And I think I probably got the most in-depth, or my introduction to the in-depth story of you two, Skip and Allison, totally hot couple, obviously in love, on the Adam Carolla show. So go to I can't believe I'm plugging the Adam, like he needs our plug.
He needs help.
Go to the Adam Carolla show, because we do love the Adam Carolla show, and listen to the Skip and Allison episode, because it's great. And then you did Lynette's show, and that was terrific too. It was a little much on the chick talk for my personal taste, but it was there.
But it was fun.
It was.
Very revealing.
It was very fun.
You are courageous. You put it all out there.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah,
I loved it.
It was good. It was good.
It kind of fell into, because we didn't plan what we were going to talk about either, you know what I mean? It just started out as like a few girls in a room talking, and then it just turned into what it turned into.
And it turned into a few girls in a room talking.
Yeah.
Which was great to be a fly on the wall for that, because, I was listening to it on headphones while I was washing dishes or whatever. And I didn't have, there wasn't another dude, and Pete listened to it separately, so there wasn't another dude that I could be in the room and, look at and go, wow, we're hearing this. But
in the show, one of the topics covered in depth was tampon flow.
In depth. So, go listen to that. But finish listening to our show first.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, if you don't want to get into that, I would say it's safe to just jump 5 minutes in, maybe.
Yeah, it's something like that. You guys are
or if you just want to learn about the other gender,
Yeah.
It's an education.
Yeah.
It's a worthwhile education. So let's talk about you, though, because you on the show, honestly, I don't get enough of you on the show. And what I would like to see more of is not just screen time, but even when you send out assistants to help with the stings, I love to see a chick who is badass. And you're a genuine badass. Your full-time job on Long Island is your parole officer, right?
Probation officer,
or probation officer, excuse me.
Same
probation officer. So you encounter all kinds of people who are trying to pull one over on you all the time.
Every day. Yep.
Man.
Yeah.
Are you guys on hiatus from doing that work because of the show, or do you go back to work in your downtime?
No, it's, Skip, because he runs his own business, he's got the freedom to come and go as he pleases. The downside of that is that when we go, his business is not running this, because
Run by
he's
him.
not.
Yeah.
No, he can't go and give an estimate, and he can't go and physically be on the job. So there's a lot of that part of it that he's not able to do. So
And you lose momentum.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. You're losing momentum. You're losing referrals, business that would have brought new business. So there's a lot that gets hurt by leaving it. But on the other hand, it's kind of like, the other hand, we've got this other thing going, and, we don't know where that's going to lead to. But for me, the first season that I had taken off of my job, because I'm a government employee, I accrued tons of vacation time, and I used it to do the first season. And the first season was initially supposed to take us 5 weeks, they told us, 7 at the max, and it ended up taking 5 months.
Wow.
So, let's just say that I used every single drop of vacation time that I had, which left me with none. So then when I came back to work after we finished filming, and then the second season got picked up, I put in for leave of absence and crossed my fingers, and they said yes. So I left for 3 months. And now we're going into the third season, and it has yet to be decided what my fate is going to be, whether or not I'm going to be with Skip for the 3 months while we're doing season 3, or whether I'm going to be flying back and forth from home a lot.
Wow.
So, yeah, we get flex time, like we can make our own schedules. So
Sure.
I usually squeeze all my hours into like the first 4 days of the week. So,
And then you can run out there and do the stings for the show.
Yeah.
But that's a lot of scheduling and a lot of juggling and a lot of flying.
So it is. It's very physically and mentally exhausting. A lot goes into making the show, like you wouldn't believe. Everybody. And I'm not even talking us. It's hard on us, but it's hard on the whole crew. And everybody that works on this show says it's the hardest show they've ever worked on. And these are seasoned professionals who've been in reality, who've been in scripted television. They've been all over the world doing all these different types of shows, like, the Alaska shows, or, the Ice Road Truckers, or the HGTV shows. They've done everything, and everybody says, without a doubt, it's the hardest show to make.
What makes it so challenging for them?
All the unpredictable factors, the things that you cannot plan. The things, when you plan a sting, the contractor doesn't know what he's about to walk into. So if he feels like not showing up for an estimate, how many times have you had somebody, they're supposed to come over to check something,
Right.
and they don't show up?
Right.
It's happened many times to us where the guy doesn't show up, and we've had to schedule another appointment. And sometimes it's like pulling teeth, because you're like, how do these guys make $1? It's like they don't even want to walk out the door, and so that's really difficult a lot of the times. The other part of that is after we do get them to the sting and we get them to agree to come back to the homeowner's house, sometimes they don't show up for that. Like their second thought is like, fuck this. Sometimes they have second thoughts. They don't want to do it. And then the other side of it is once the construction starts, because you never know what's behind that closed wall until you open it up, and construction cannot be planned like production would like it to be. There's permits that you have to apply for. There's problems that come up that weren't expected. Sometimes what we think is a moderate problem turns into a tremendous problem that's going to take 3 weeks to build or rebuild instead of just 1. It's a lot.
Here's the one reality show that I have ever experienced. I didn't even work on it, but I met these stuntmen one time who worked on Fear Factor. And I got into a conversation with them. We happened to be shooting something else on the same film ranch, and I was talking to these guys, and they were really nice guys, but I was like, what are you guys doing? And one guy was, and they looked like stuntmen. They were young, strapping dudes, great shape, and what do you do? Oh, I do the zip line thing. Before we put the people on the zip line, I got to test it, and I slide down it, and I do that. And the other guy was I climb on the whatever. They all had their thing that they did, and then there was this guy who was clearly the elder statesman of the group. And he just kind of sat quietly and laughed at all the kids that were there. And I said, what about you, man? You salty old bastard. What do you do? And he goes, I'm the guy who eats everything. So his occupation was, if they were going to make you eat goat eye or whatever, he had to eat it first, make sure it was okay.
Wow.
Yeah. So every single thing you had ever seen that was disgusting that somebody ate on Fear Factor, he ate.
Wow.
But I asked him, how often do you run across something? I promise I have a point. I'm getting to something. But I asked him, how often do you run across something that's not cool? Like, nope, we can't let him eat this. And he goes, yeah, that happens.
Oh,
that's all he said. That happens.
He didn't give you an example?
No, he just said, I didn't really want one at the time. So I was just, okay.
There's real, like the disgusting, like the body part. I mean, I can take like even like the bugs,
Yep.
But when they start giving you like the nasty body fluids, like from like horses and stuff like that.
Yeah. No, thank you.
Yeah.
Here's where I was going with all that. They have all of the variables on even fear factor accounted for. Like they know, yes, this is a zip line. Yes, people are going to make it all the way down, whatever. They've tested it all out. You guys have none of that. You guys have the most volatile situation, which is a person's home and somebody who has done them wrong on their home. And it's usually a very big ticket and a guy who's a scammer. And you guys have everything working against you in terms of predictability.
Right.
And then you're going to confront him and you have no idea how he's going to react or what he's going to do. And I want to get back to that in a moment. And then you bring him to the house and you have no idea what's going to go on the house, how that's going to behave. Like you said, you got to open the wall to find out what's behind it. And there's always live electrical and there's gas and there's all kinds of, you guys have every variable coming at you in every direction. And you pack it into a 1-hour show.
Yeah.
Nuts.
I know. And the way that they pack it into the 1-hour show, I got to give props to production because I don't know, like how they do it. We not having been in that part of television before we were on this show, you really can't have an appreciation for how much the people behind the scenes make it what it is, because we've got like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours of footage from multiple cameras, and plus the GoPros, and that they put it all together and make it a story that people enjoy watching. And with Adam, and there's so many jokes. It's like, which ones do you pick? Because believe me, what you see is not even like
it's a fraction.
It's a teeny tiny little fraction because he's got us all day. I mean, it just comes and comes and comes and comes, and he just keeps rolling with them, and that's just him, So it's like, I don't know how they put it all together, but thank God they do, and they do a really good job because, like we're part of this thing that we're really proud of. In addition to being proud of being able to help these people, we're making something that people enjoy watching and learning from. So the whole thing is just really, really fucking cool for us. It's a really good experience.
I'm so happy you say that because, man, crews like that don't get enough props. People who work behind the scenes in television do not get enough props for entertaining us the way they do and the hard work that they put into it. But Adam, he's interesting because he knows what the fuck he's talking about, too. I mean, he was, for our listeners, if you don't know, let's face it, every single person listening to our podcast has heard Adam a million times, but he's a master carpenter. So you're not going to pull one over on him, and he's not just going to stand there and let Skip do all the heavy lifting. I don't know, he might do that, but the actual lifting. But when it comes down to all the stuff that's there, man, you got two guys who are TV personalities who are going to pick that construction stuff apart. And then a hot chick in the back who, if you get out of line, she will whoop your ass.
Yes.
So how much ass whooping have you had to do?
Well,
and if the answer to this question is boring, I want you to make something.
I'll tell you this, the ass whoopings and the confrontations that have gotten really heated with lots of expletives have not been shown on TV.
No, they have not. Because
the network wants to keep it focused on the purpose of the show, which is to have the crappy contractor take accountability and to also show the other parts where he's getting confronted, and we want them to come clean. We want the homeowner to end up happy with their house fixed, and we want closure at the end where we hope that the guy got something out of it and learned something so that maybe he won't do this again to other people. They want it to be positive. They don't want anybody coming off like a bully because we're not that show, but behind the scenes, we're all real people and it is reality and there are arguments and you do have somebody being confronted by two people they've never met who are basically saying, you suck. You're a liar.
And
your work is shit.
That's right.
You don't know what you're doing. people are going to get defensive, and it happens. And then even if everything they're saying is true and their work does suck and they are lying, they're going to try to get out of it and make up stories, and then it just gets heated and it gets blown up. And a lot of these guys sometimes they hate Skip because, they know he's right. And they're like, they're thinking that he's just trying to, be like showing off, like, he thinks he knows what he's doing, but I really know, like these guys really, what you see them saying, like they really think that stuff, so sometimes it behind the scenes, like that guy, Robert, they got into it, man. They got into it outside by that pool with those stakes that were sticking up upside down.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they got into it. None of it made it to TV, because there was really no purpose in showing that.
Yeah.
But, yeah, there's a lot of these guys. Gilbert, that first episode in season 2.
Right.
There was this one part where Gilbert said something to Skip, like, I'll punch you in the face. And then Skip had this comeback for him that was so great. And they included it, and everybody, right to the top guy at the production company, was like, this is the best ever. Because it was gold. It was, like, funny, and it was intense, because you can feel, like, because Skip was sincere, and he was in that moment, like, he was telling the guy. And it was like, and then Spike got the cut, and they were like, no, right out.
Spike, what are you doing?
Watch the episode, you see the guy telling Skip, I'll punch you in the face, and then Skip's his response was like this.
They didn't give us a shot. Come on, Spike, we're watching the show at 10 o'clock on Sunday night.
So what was the line?
The kids are asleep. Okay, tell us what the line was.
We were excited, and then we were let down, but then, in the end, it's for a good reason. They don't want people to see. People misinterpret, you know what I mean? And if you just look at that one part of the scene, you'd be saying, that guy's trying to be a bully, or he's trying to be a tough guy. And it wasn't that, We're talking about like a 20-minute argument and confrontation, of which you're only seeing 2 of those minutes, So it's really hard for people to see it in the perspective in which it was meant, and they didn't want anybody to misinterpret it. So, unfortunately, that stuff gets cut out. But I will tell you, though, the stuff that you keep hoping to see, it does happen. You just might not see it.
Yeah.
If you like the show,
and you know you do,
send us some pictures of your movies.
Don't do that. Support the show.
There are 3 ways you can support us.
Number 1, go to iTunes or Stitcher or wherever you listen to podcasts.
And leave a 5-star rating and review.
It helps with the show metrics and helps us get better placement. Number 2,
visit our website,
www.breakitdownshow.com.
We've got an Amazon and an eBay link.
Same Amazon, same eBay, you know and love, but they give us a little kickback when you get to their site from ours. And number 3, leave comments about the shows that you like. We want to know what you think, how you feel.
Tell us how to make the show better. We greatly appreciate it.
Now back to the show.
We like boobies.
Is there someone there on site whose job is to be the last line of defense? Because obviously you can't have Adam Carolla punching people in the face.
Yeah, it's Allison.
Allison comes out. You're going after my man?
I am there every time, and I swear to God, I mean, it might happen eventually where if somebody tries to touch my husband, I'm going to be right there, because I don't care, cameras or not, like, you know what I mean? I'm not having that.
Yeah.
But there is a security team on site that are there for everybody's protection.
Right.
Yes. Because, you don't know. And again, you have somebody walking into a home. We don't scan them. They're not going through a metal detector. Right. They're just a guy coming in out of their car off the street into the house.
Yeah. And they're walking into a situation where they know they're wrong, and it's everybody against them. It's,
Right.
That's tough.
I don't want to leave out giving props to my husband, who, he can definitely lay down some major ass kicking. So we don't really need the security team, but let's just say they're there for everybody's protection, legal and otherwise.
Yeah, there's a lot of camera equipment. There's a lot of things that don't need to be broken. There are a lot of people there. There's personnel besides Skip, even though he's the one doing the main confronting. There are a lot of other people around who could get hurt. So.
Right. But I can't, deny that we all are hoping to see a good ass beating eventually.
There we go. That's what we were
All
after.
right.
Because, we, as TV viewers, sure, we like to see those things. But you're right. There is a purpose for the show. There is a clear path to what you guys want to get out of the show. And we enjoy it. And that's what it's there for. I won't lie. If we see if it got a little dirtier, we wouldn't mind. Some of us.
Like Manny, his friend from the season 2, the guy who we caught twice, Manny.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
And he screwed over his friend, and his friend came back in, and I swear, like that, nobody saw that coming. That guy, him and his wife, they were out in the car. The car was in drive. They were leaving. And it was like everybody just kind of went on about doing what they were doing because, they left. But we didn't realize that what had eventually happened was they pulled over, and the guy came out and he snuck in into the house, not in the front door. So nobody noticed. There's so much crew walking around and there's construction going on. Nobody noticed him. He got back in the house and he was like, and he said, "I changed my mind, motherfucker." And he ran over there and he jumped on Manny and started fighting with him like that. I was happy. I was like,
yes.
That's TV time, man. I was like, that's ratings, yay.
That was a good episode. I remember that one, yeah.
We were excited for it, but everybody was also nervous because, nobody wants a lawsuit or, of course, we want to protect the show as well. So, but I can't say I was disappointed. That was some good viewing.
Yeah, it is some good viewing, but you're right, though. There's a big risk, and there's some precedent, too, that Jenny Jones thing that happened where the guest went and killed the other guest. And, man, that came back bad on the show, So there is a lot on the line for you guys when that volatile the situation.
Yeah, we're not looking to get sued, I'll tell you that much. We just want to go out there and help people and make it entertaining as well, So, we don't want problems, but you got to get a little caught up in it because it's real, you know what I mean? These are real confrontations, so you can't help but get into it, because it's not staged and it's not scripted. So it's just as any normal person, your adrenaline gets going and you get excited.
Yeah. When you've got a crew that size that's hanging around, and they're all professionals, of course, they have the TV show in mind. So I can imagine that everybody's thinking oh, I've got to get this equipment out of here. I've got to has to get between these two people. We've got to quell this right now. And you're standing in the back going, do it.
On that episode, you'll see the whole crew, even the people in charge of production, people in charge of money. I mean, there was people that don't even work hands, with their hands.
Yeah.
In that fight, trying to separate them because they were thinking about the long run, everybody jumped in trying to separate that thing.
Well, I didn't see that episode.
You haven't seen that one?
No,
man,
but I remember Adam talking about it. I have to go back and look at it now. I don't know how I missed it, but I have to go back and look at it because I remember when Adam talked about it on his show, this guy was a Marine, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So I do remember the presence of the show, and I got to go back and look at it because now I have, you wet my whistle on it now.
Yeah, it's season 2, right.
You can, by the way, get season 2 on Hulu.
I was actually usually when I'm either in the house when they're doing stuff or depending on what's going on, I might be in, there's a big van where they have the monitors that see what the cameramen are seeing. And that's where there's a director who's in there and tells the cameramen, focus on this guy's face, zoom in, zoom out, move to the left. Here's telling where the camera guys where to go so we can see what they want to see. So sometimes I'm in there watching. Sometimes I'm in their house, when that fight in episode 1 with Gilbert, I was right on the other side of the wall when Skip gave that guy that good line that they did not include. And sometimes I'm just it's hot out, I'm really tired, I didn't get enough sleep last night, and I'm in the trailer taking a nap or on my phone, Facebook or whatever. That day I missed that fight because I was in the trailer. And I got to the house, right after it happened. I mean, literally, because this was when they got the guy out of the house, the homeowner back out of the house, and Skip came out after him to talk to him and, talk him down and be like, I understand, man, but, you gotta keep it together because we're trying to fix your house, so I was, taking my phone, and I'm, trying to hold it, I'm not paying attention, but I got, the little, the little thing with the camera recording the whole thing, and, I'm thinking, because it turns into something, this could be exciting, but usually, we're watching things from somewhere else, but I missed that fight. I was so pissed. So like after that, I was trying to like stay on set more, in case something exciting happened that I missed. It's like you never know because there's a lot of hours of filming. How much can you sit there and watch every single second of it? Construction, you know what I mean? Like they'd already started the construction when that happened. I don't want to see any of that.
That is hilarious.
Not in person, at least.
So you
I don't
just
go to work with Skip on a normal basis. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not about to sit there and watch him, build the whole inside of a house. So yeah, it's you got to pick and choose when you're going to be there to watch something exciting. But yeah, it's getting. From what we hear from the stories that we got coming for season 3, it's going to be really good.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right on. Well, I'm glad you have us in on the scoop for that. How much of the work does Skip actually do? I mean, they do have help for him, right? It's not just him and Adam swinging hammers.
No, just like any other job would be, you don't have one guy doing everything or 2 guys, but they're there.
Yeah.
Just what you see is what they are doing. I mean, like Skip is there because it's not only, well, for one thing, because he is who he is, it's like he can't help himself but like to do too much, you know what I mean? Like, come on, like, let's go. Like, they got the rest of the crew there now. They can, do what they are going to do, but Skip they definitely are in charge of the job because ultimately we're representing the show and we don't want to be the subject of our own show. You know what I mean?
Right.
Skip is not going to stamp his face on something that was done incorrectly, So, like, because you got these guys, like, again, because it's television, season 1, there was this one thing where they worked on a bathroom. And again, I was talking about before, everything's for time. It's like we got production times. We got to be out of the house by a certain time. And sometimes there's finishing touches that get done after the show has finished filming. Things that you wouldn't see anyway, like, like when you put the little, that white stuff in the molding, you know what I mean? Filler and stuff like that. So there was this bathroom and the counter was up against the wall, and usually have like a bead of this filler stuff around. They hadn't gotten to it yet. It was as simple as that. They filmed it. They hadn't gotten to it yet. Everything ended up being completed, but what they showed on television, people freeze frame their TVs, snapshot it, and put it on Twitter like, look at this shitty job they did. They didn't put any of the filler in. There's none of this, none of that. And it's like, dude, I was like, that's not even the finished product. You know what I mean? Like, that was like for television so you could see how everything came out, but it's like people are nitpicking. So now it's like, that's even more reason as we go through this process.
For him to be more nitpicky.
Present. Yeah, we want to make sure that it's done right. He wants to make sure that everything is how it's supposed to be. I can't tell you how many times, like, even when something's being done, not in his presence, and he's come back to see, like, no, man, you guys put in this sliding door wrong. And he has them pull the whole thing out. Like, he's doing the job. You know what I mean? Like, he's really there. He's really a contractor. He knows what he knows, and he fixes what needs to be fixed. So even though we're not there for the whole thing, no contractor is really there for their whole entire, you know what I mean? Like, you have other guys on your crew. So it's the same thing as if he was at home. He's there. He's working on the job just like any other job.
Well, we have construction guys who listen to our podcast, and this is going to resonate with them.
Yeah.
Because now what I want you guys to think about is all of the deadlines that you guys have out there, and that one painter whose job it is to come through with that last bead of caulk. This is what you have to deal with, man. And then on top of your normal deadlines and all the things that you're stressing you on a day-to-day basis, now imagine you got 15 cameras pointed at you.
Okay.
And you got to be out of that house by Tuesday.
Yeah.
And we mean Tuesday.
Exactly that. Yeah.
So yeah, that's awesome. And I appreciate that you point that out, because our listeners who are in the construction business, sure, they love the show. They're fans of the show, and they're going to dig it. But really get that depth of appreciation that comes with, throw that job under a microscope now, under the microscope that is TV.
Yeah, because they forget that, it is television, and not always like, it's television. We're putting together a show, and, there's a lot that goes into it. And for every house, they were all completed to the people's satisfaction, and even after the show is left, so that was like really frustrating to see in the beginning, because it's like people who just want to look for the negative, and it's like, are you kidding? Like, look what we helped these people, you know what I mean? Like, why are you looking for that? we didn't leave them with a crappy job.
Yeah.
It's like if you're just sitting back on your couch, just enjoy the show, man. Look at what we did for them. Don't worry about it. It came out good. They were happy. And of course, think about this side of it.
It was certainly better than it was when you arrived.
Absolutely, but not even that. We don't want to leave any of these people unhappy because you know how people are. Like, they'll be the first ones like, hey, contractor screwed up my house. You know what I mean? They're not going to put themselves in that situation. Everything is done right. Everything is done with the permits, and everything is inspected. It's like, don't worry about it, guys. You don't need to pick it apart because everything is done the right way. Because nobody wants any kind of that controversy or, publicity.
Also, Allison said so, and she'll punch you in your mouth.
Right in your damn mouth. Hey, I've watched most of the shows, like I said, and so many times the things that you see are just frighteningly dangerous. Like that balcony that was barely attached, or like the electricity, like the wires that are bare and exposed. Has anybody been hurt because of the people's work? It doesn't seem like I've seen that happen, but gosh, it's such a likely thing.
I don't know that I remember anybody that had gotten seriously hurt that on one of the houses that we worked on. The potential for that was there. And even more so when there's kids in the house because they're so unpredictable and, they want to touch everything and they don't realize, and especially like when you wet your fingers, and you touch things, it's, the worst part of it is the potential for the danger
right.
And also danger that existed that people didn't know was dangerous. Like in the last episode of season 2, the inside of the attic underneath the roof was
right.
literally into a bomb. Like had they turned on their heat and there was an ignition with a flame,
yeah.
It would have blown up. No question. Like those people would have gotten killed. So the potential for the danger that is not visible is like, that's just ridiculous all over the place because, again, people don't know what they're looking at to begin with. They don't know what's dangerous, like that black mold in episode 1. We didn't know that was there. That wasn't part of the canvassing for the family, like that Skip saw that once they went into the house and started getting shown around. They met that family for the first time at that front door when you saw it on TV. As they're walking through the house, that's when he saw that black mold. I mean, black mold, it can be deadly, They didn't know it was there. The family didn't know it was there. Production didn't know it was there. Skip saw it.
And suddenly you have that one more variable on your hands.
Exactly.
To deal with. And that is really what makes the show so dynamic. And I hope everybody gets that because you guys have every variable working against you.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love what you do.
This is why we love you guys so much because you're a genuine badass.
Yeah.
This hits our sweet spot.
Oh, how cool is that?
Everybody on the show hits our sweet spot. So we dig you for that and we
Yeah.
dig Skip for his experience and then Adam,
Of course we love Adam.
Yeah.
Adam races race cars. We love that stuff.
He races race cars. So does Pete. He's funny. We like funny.
We like funny.
So
Yeah, everybody likes funny.
yeah. You guys got our sweet spot. All of our sweet spots.
Yeah, no kidding.
Really.
Did you see that movie with Denzel Washington? What's that new one that just came out? It starts with an E. Equalizer.
Oh, I've not
Equalizer,
seen that
no.
yet. No, Is it good? 2 hands
Dude.
up. She's got 2 hands in the air.
You're gonna love it.
All right.
For everything we talked about, you're gonna love it. You gotta watch that movie.
Okay, so we're not capturing video. We're only capturing audio for this podcast. But Allison's reaction to Equalizer was fingers up, 2 guns blazing, enthusiasm.
Yeah.
So I guess we ought to go watch that movie.
We're going to check it out
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, it was a surprise to us too, because I rent out a Redbox like a few times a week. And all I knew was a Denzel Washington movie, so I knew it had to be good. We didn't know what to expect from that movie. So you're going to be pleasantly surprised in that movie with what comes.
All right.
All right.
I like that. I like surprise.
No kidding.
Hey, I've got a question about your career, and you're at a crossroads, right? The show's doing well. I imagine you have other ideas for other shows. Maybe there's a show featuring you doing what you do. I don't know. I'm just imagining that's
Kicking
happening.
doors in and whooping asses.
Yeah. You get over here. I told you to be here at 5 p.m.
I'd watch that.
I was busy. I swear. Anyhow, but you're at a crossroads. We have this great career. You have fantastic benefits. You're doing good for humanity as well. At least, trying to. And, so what's next? What happens over the next year, 18 months? Can you even figure it out?
No, you hit it right on the head. That's like a big question mark because I love my career. I've been doing this a little while now, and I love everything about it, and I aspire to stay in it. I feel like, some people hate their job and, like they don't know what they want to be. I feel like I'm really blessed because I found something that suits me perfectly. It's like the combination of with the law enforcement, with I don't know if you call it social work, like, where you're dealing with people and helping people or helping to rehabilitate people. It's just the combination of the two is everything that we do in this job, and I love it. But on the other hand, there's this opportunity that's happening to us, and I kind of fell into it with Skip because we were really focusing on him, because the reality is that for as good of a carpenter he is and contractor, and he could fix and build anything, we're getting older. It's like I don't want him to break his back in his 70s, like trying to make a buck. It's we want to also try to have this really cool career for him where he has an opportunity to share his gifts and the things that he does. And, he's good on camera, and it's really hard. So, I'm hoping that he takes off for that part. I hope he takes off and can do lots of other things, represent other maybe tools or something, or other kinds of products, or writes a book that people will enjoy reading. I don't know. For me, I'm kind of just like rolling with it and seeing what happens. Like I don't plan on leaving my job. I plan on staying with my job. I love my job. We live here on Long Island, and we love our home, and we have cats and dogs and our family. We're not leaving that. So I'm just going to have to find a way to coordinate doing the other things that come along and not damage my job here. And it always depends on who's in your corner and who wants to help you and who wants to hurt you. And I'm just hoping that I have the support of people who see what I'm doing as a positive thing and see that I'm going to be with my job for a good long time, and that's going to be the long run, and let me do a little bit of good things here and there in the meanwhile. It's an opportunity that's really rare.
That's true. And I hope you get all those things and I hope your job recognizes, number one, your dedication, and number two, that you're doing the neat side job that you've secured for all the right reasons. You're helping people, you're giving, and I hope that the department that you represent is reaping some sort of benefit, some sort of goodwill or something from the fact that you're out there and, that you bring a bit of celebrity back home.
I was hoping to do that in some way, shape, or form, because a lot of people, I would say probably most people, don't know what probation even does. They always, like you said before, you said parole, they confuse probation, parole. They don't know what it is that we do in the community. They don't realize that there's probation officers out there in their own community who are there working with 100% convicted criminals that are in their neighborhoods and in the stores that they're shopping in. And, we are there to essentially supervise convicted criminals in the community and also make sure that they are doing what they need to do to be law-abiding and reformed. And because people don't know what we do, they're not able to support that in voting and in government and in who they're going to elect and what they think their taxes should pay for. You know what I mean? Like, we're the highest educated in law enforcement. We have to have a bachelor's degree to even take the civil service test. The police don't have to have anything beyond a high school diploma. Not to diminish their, intelligence or what the job that they do, but we are not equally compensated nor recognized for what's required to even have this job and what it is we do in the job. I carry the same weapons as a police officer. Everything on his belt is on my belt. I wear a gun to work every day. I'm risking my life just like everybody else is, that's on the job. But yet we don't get the pay, we don't get the recognition. So it's a really tough position to be in, and I was hoping to be able to use this bit of media coverage, throughout time as we get these opportunities to at least give props to those who deserve it, so that people know what it is that we do, popularize a little bit.
Would you mind if I took a second to give some props? I'm going to give some props to Mickey Griffin. That's my favorite probation officer. Do you know that Mickey Griffin is a probation officer?
I didn't know that.
That's what he is. That's what he does, and he's a good one.
You got to be a couple different people on this job. It's like you have to really be multifaceted because, you know, there's this helping side where, you know, you're going to help people and they want help, and you have to have the knowledge and the ability and the strength to be able to be there for them and provide. And then there's the other part where you have to be like the strong arm, you know, and you have to just keep control over them or watch them or make sure that they don't do something that's going to, you know, hurt somebody else, you know. So it's like there's a lot of different types of people when you're dealing with people, you know. So you have to be a lot of different things. It's a very busy job.
And it's not even that you have this person or that person, but there's a whole lot of in between. Like, you know that this person is sincerely trying to do something, but they just can't seem to get it together, or they just can't seem to string together enough good decisions. And they just make that one fuck up. Why did you do that? What were you thinking? And I know you run into that all the time.
Had so much of that frustration because, you know, and you're putting your time into these people, you know, you're spending that much extra time when you do a home visit or when they come to see you at the office, you know, and you're taking that much more time at the desk. That's time you're taking away from other people, you know, and it's just like you want to strangle yourself when you see these people wasting it away, you know, like, I told you what to do and how to do it, you know, do it the way I told you, you know, you would have just stuck to it, you know, you'd be successful, you know, people, it's really frustrating, you know, because you want to see them succeed if you put all this effort into them. Sometimes it's hard not to get so involved, and then I see people who they get, after years and years, you know, they're just like, yeah, whatever.
Wow.
They get tired, they're like, whatever, they're gonna fuck up it. You know, like some people are just exhausted of it, you know what I mean? It's like sometimes after you put so much into other people and you're not getting the return of the progress, after a while, it just beats you down.
If you can do some quick math for us, what percentage of people in your life call you Allison, and what percentage of people in your life call you Officer Bedell?
Well...
Because we're talking right now about people who only know you by name as Officer Bedell.
Oh, well, I mean, that's only at work. The people who are coming to be interviewed by me or under my supervision. And then I love when they say, you know, what's your first name? They try to get, what's your first name?
Is your first name is Officer?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Or, you know, like every once in a while somebody will find out your name, you know, and they'll just try to call you by your last, like, hey, Bedell, like, no, Officer. You know, like, you gotta keep that line drawn, you know, because there's like a level of respect and authority that you have to maintain, or else they can't take you seriously if you drop it down a notch, you know. Sometimes they have to respect the authority, you know, like they say in South Park. But
and Allison is a ball of energy and positivity.
Yeah, man.
You know, what you guys can't see while you listen is that her hands are going. She is in full gesture mode, and clearly you love what you do. You love the TV show. You love your man. You love your job. I mean, you are impassioned, and I love it. I feed off that. That's fantastic.
I hope everybody does.
Thanks for noticing. Yeah, you hit that right on the head. Somebody would have asked me to describe me. I don't know that I want to come up with the words right away, but that's it.
Anything you want to plug as we close up?
Well, Skip and I are going to be actually already recorded 2, but they haven't gone live yet. But we're actually starting our own podcast as well. We are going to be doing kind of like an after show for all the previous episodes for the first 20 of our podcasts, where we're going to talk about behind the scenes from each episode. And in addition to other things that we're going to talk about from our personal lives and our other stuff that pisses us off and all that kind of thing. And
that is a great idea, by the way.
Yeah, seriously.
Thank you for doing that. God, I was hoping it'd be like a Spike Plus, where you could get like the deleted scenes that really should be the show, you know? So, fantastic idea.
Yeah, because I mean, there's like a lot of stuff bubbled up in our head that like we had no outlet for, you know, and people wanted to see it. And there was this after show that was on YouTube, and I don't want to be critical of anybody else's work, but let's just say that they didn't invite us to speak about it, and it really wasn't very relevant to know because they didn't have any of the inside or background information. So we're going to provide that on our podcast, and we're also going to, as we are filming season 3, we're going to be able to talk about stuff that's going on in the background without giving anything really away that would get us in trouble with Spike. But we're going to keep it going, and I think we're going to be on, right now I think we're going to be on Adam's network of podcasts. So we're hoping that people listen.
Cool. So we'll keep our eyes open on Carolla Digital for that. And, yeah. Well, Pete?
Just thank you very much. I really love the fact that you came on and talked to us. We've been very fortunate. We're a new podcast. We've got some great guests. You are absolutely right there with everybody else. We've been very, very fortunate, and I think you've done a great job. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me. That's really great. Thank you for asking.
All right. Well, everybody, listen to the new podcast coming up on Carolla Digital with Skip and Allison. Tune in to Spike TV on Sunday nights or DVR. Make sure if you DVR, you watch the show within 3 days. Catch a Contractor. You're going to love it. You're going to love Allison. Follow her on Twitter at Alison Bedell. Follow Skip on Twitter at Skip_Bedell. And I think that's everything.
I think that's everything.
That's it. Ciao.
Yeah. All right.